Hello, and in today's video we are doing Premier League predictions for match week number 6 of the 2022-23 season. That's right, score predictions back on the channel, and it's going to be a very interesting week, that is for sure. We'll look back at how we got on in match week number 5, and let's predict the upcoming fixtures. Before we do, smash a like on it. Comment down your score predictions with the first game kicking off at 12:30. Of course, that is the Merseyside derby. I know it's a bad accent there, but, you know, we do what we can. Get your score predictions down below. It's 3 points for the correct result, 5 for the correct goal difference, and 7 for the correct scoreline. So, how did we get on last week? Well, before I look at my predictions, let's look back at how the comments got on in last week's predictions. And there was a lot of games. The midweek action was fiery, was very interesting. And, we got some comments in there. So, Ballum, thanks for your comment. He said he is back with Premier League predictions, even though there is no Watford. Ballum, I can tell you, Watford are a Championship club. We're not expected to be in the Premier League, so not even anything of a comment really there. But also, I'm going to do Premier League predictions, whatever, because it's the best league in the world. Everyone knows that. Obviously, I predict Watford because they're my club and they are the club I support, and I'll predict the division that they're in, hence this season, the Championship. But the Premier League is the best league in the world. No debating it. But yeah, your predictions, 1-0 Brentford. Of course, we know that was not the correct result. It instead finished Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 1, with Wilfried Zaha getting on the score sheet yet again for the Eagles. I mean, Wissa with a good goal from a header. And Zaha with a great strike. He's in very good form, Wilfried Zaha, so you've got to give it to him. But no points for you there, Ballum. You said Fulham 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. I can confirm that was, again, wrong. Fulham got the victory with a Lewis Dunk own goal sealing the game. And what form this guy is in, Alexander Mitrovic. People thought he couldn't step up. Boy, is he showing he can. Another goal. He seems to be scoring every week now. And a very good win for Fulham against a very difficult to break down and difficult to beat Brighton team. Southampton 1, Chelsea 0 was your also prediction. That was a great prediction. Very, very decent stuff. That's what happened, a Southampton victory. However, a big blow for Southampton with Romeo Lavia, the first goal scorer, being injured now for a long time. So that's a bit of a blow for them. But he got his first goal. You wouldn't expect it against Chelsea, but Chelsea got the lead. You thought that'll be it now, but Southampton turned it around. Chelsea were really poor defensively, but Raheem Sterling's in some good form for the Blues after his signing from Manchester City. And Adam Armstrong with the goal just before half time. He's getting into a bit of form now, Armstrong, after his move from Blackburn last season. He kind of struggled to get the goals last season for Southampton, but it's good for him to get some starts and get some goals. That's all that strikers want. So yeah, fair play. Correct goal difference there for you, Ballum, 5 points. But let's move on. Leeds against Everton. You said a 0-0 draw. You thought it'd be goalless. It was not. It was 1-1 in the end, with Brendan Aronson supplying the goal for Luis Sinisterra. First goal for Leeds for that man, and very unlucky Leeds United. Obviously, Rodrigo going off on the 32nd minute with a very unfortunate dislocated shoulder. So he will be out for the foreseeable future. But Everton obviously getting that goal through Anthony Gordon, who, has been in good form as well. So he is going to be staying at Everton. Chelsea didn't, in fact, get him in. And therefore, that's a correct goal difference there for you, Ballum. So another 5 points onto 10. Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0 is what you went for. It was, of course, 0-0. Bournemouth in a bit of trouble at the minute, with no manager, Scott Parker sacked, so Gary O'Neill in temporary charge. And, it's a battle this game, but they'll take the point. Wolves are a decent side, so no prediction correct there. You also said 1-0 to Aston Villa, very controversially. But no, of course, Arsenal keep on their 100% winning start, top of the league. And what a contrast to this time, a whole year ago with Mikel Arteta, with them being bottom of the table and 3 defeats from the first 3. But now they're sitting very pretty at the top of the table with with 5 wins from the first 5. So really good from Arsenal. And another victory against the stubborn Aston Villa team. I mean, that Doug Sweet goal was an absolute freak. And there was thoughts that he might leave Villa to go to Arsenal on deadline day, but that didn't materialise. But Jesus and Martinelli, the two Gabriels, are still in fantastic form. What a signing Gabriel Jesus has been for this Arsenal team. But yeah, very good result for Arsenal. But no points for you, I'm afraid, Ballum. You said 1-0 win against Man City. That might have been quite optimistic on Nottingham Forest's part. It was a 6-0 and another hat-trick. That's back-to-back hat-tricks now for Erling Haaland. I mean, this guy is the Terminator. He is a machine. He is created in a lab. I mean, I just don't have any more superlatives to say about him. And Alvarez looked fantastic as well against Nottingham Forest. Really great goal-scoring form for Man City. And what a strike from João Cancelo. That was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, correct result there, but nothing else. You at least get yourself that 3 points. So you're on to 13. Then you said 1-0 Spurs. Well, that was wrong. West Ham with a point there. A good result. A Souček goal after an own goal from the new signing Thilo Kehrer. So yeah, good point for West Ham, but Spurs were poor. So they'll be disappointed. And then we had Liverpool-Newcastle. Obviously, it's the classic, always goal-scoring fest game. And this was a very kind of cagey one, actually. Great game to watch, but in terms of the amount of goals, not many scored. But then right at the end, Fabio Carvalho, the new signing from Fulham, grabs his second goal for Liverpool, and what absolute limbs at Anfield. So great result for Liverpool to turn it round. You know, a great signing of Alexander Isak to get his debut goal. He looks a great player, but Liverpool get the victory that they so clearly craved. And that's a nice goal difference there. Bang on again from Ballum. So yeah, not too shabby, to be fair to you. You have done all right, and you're currently sitting on a nice overall of 18. So then we move to your next prediction, but unfortunately you didn't predict it, so I have to finish you there. 18 points. Unfortunately missed out the Manchester United-Leicester game, which of course was a 1-0 with Jadon Sancho getting the only goal, Marcus Rashford at it again. So yeah, good prediction, but ultimately 18 points for you, Ballum. Other predictions on the video, thanks for it, DK Jones. He got a 1-1 draw in the Fulham game. Again, wrong. He said 3-0 Palace, wrong. Southampton 1, Chelsea 2, the wrong way around. 2-2 draw in the Leeds Everton game, so 5 points there, very good. He said a 3-1 Wolves win, so that was wrong. It was a tough week, really, for a lot of them. 2-0 Arsenal, that's the correct result, so 3 points, 8 points overall. You also said a 4-1 Man City, and it was, of course, 6-0, so another 3 points. That will do very nicely. So yeah, moving on from that, we also had a nice prediction for Liverpool-Newcastle, 2-1. You also said for the Spurs game, 2-1 to Spurs. That was wrong. So, you know, some decent predictions in here, DK, that's for sure. Certainly in that prediction between the likes of Leeds Everton, that was a good prediction with the 5 points there. So yeah, very, very decent. But ultimately, 11 points after that City game. And after that Liverpool game, another 5 points, 16. And then you said Leicester City 0, Man United 1. Bang on the money. Very impressive stuff from DK. So he finishes on a very decent score, actually, of 23 points. So, yeah, 5 points in the Liverpool game, 3 points in the Man City game. Very, very decent. I'm just checking that I've actually counted that up correctly. So it was on 8 points before. Then it got to 11. Yeah, that's right. That's fine. So looking at that then, it is very good 23. But what will happen in match week 6, I should say. Match week 6 is the following. 3rd of September to the 4th of September. And to kick us off, we've got the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Everton against Liverpool. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he won't be fit, I don't think, for this, as is Jordan Henderson, because he is currently out. That's a big blow for Liverpool with the injuries they've already got to their midfield, like Thiago. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. Jota might be back to start, but with the form of Roberto Firmino, I wonder if he will play. Also, Darwin Núñez is back from his suspension, but again, I wonder if he will play because of the form of Roberto Firmino. So, a very fascinating Merseyside derby, this one. Everton I mean, I say fascinating. They've brought in a lot of new players. They've got Neil Mopai. They've got James Garner. They've just brought in Idrissa Gana-Gueye, returns to Everton. And they've got in some good defenders, Everton, to be fair to them. You know, Connor Cody, Ruben Vinagre, and also Nathan Patterson has actually been starting games this season alongside James Tarkowski. So I think Everton will lose this game. I don't want to build things up to be let down, but yeah, I think Everton will lose. The reason I say that is this Liverpool team are too good to not exploit Everton's weaknesses. Everton 1, Liverpool 3. Goal scorers here, Mohamed Salah to get the first for the Reds. Then Everton get their goal. And it's going to be a nice strike for Everton from a defender. This time it's going to be Yerry Mina. And then Liverpool get the rest of their goals first through a little bit of, yes, Carvalho. And then the third Liverpool goal scorer, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, it's Brentford against Leeds. I think Brentford do get a very, very hard-fought draw in this game. I think it's going to be tight, it's going to be tense, and it's going to be entertaining. Brentford 2, Leeds United 2. Goal scorers here. Leeds will score first through a bit of Jack Harrison. Brentford get their goal back, and it's, once again, that man again. It is Johan Visser. And then Brentford's second goal comes from Brian Mbeumo. But Leeds have the last laugh because they have the second goal, and this time it's going to be Patrick Bamford. Now, Chelsea against West Ham. This is a game I can see being much more comfortable for Chelsea than they did have against Southampton. As poor as they were on Tuesday night, I think this was just a blip, really. I don't think it will happen again. I think Chelsea at home are much stronger, and now that they've signed Wesley Fofana, they'll be looking to win this one. West Ham, good win against Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago, and then obviously midweek, a good point against Spurs, but I still feel Chelsea are going to be too strong. Chelsea 2, West Ham United 0. Goal scorers on the score sheet, Reece James, and then the second for Chelsea, I'm going to say it's that man again, the in-form Raheem Sterling. Now, Newcastle take on Crystal Palace at St James's Park, and this is the kind of game I can see being really tight, because Newcastle have been really good to start the season, and they've signed Isak. They've got a lot of flair with their team. Crystal Palace, though, they have been a very good team this season, and Zaha is getting the goals week in, week out. Do I think he's going to score again? I actually don't. I think Newcastle, despite the fact they lost to Liverpool, they will get a win here, and they will get a 2-1 win. Crystal Palace to score first through a little bit of, yes, Edouard. But then Newcastle goal scorers are going to come in the form of Alexander Isak again. Yes, it's impossible to believe it, but yes. And the second Newcastle goal scorer will say Kieran Trippier from another free kick. And it's Forest against Bournemouth next, a huge game when you think about where these teams will probably likely finish come the end of the season. Now, as good as Nottingham Forest have been, I just feel this is more about how poor Bournemouth have been. They've been so sloppy. And I think without a current manager, without a proper manager in the helm, I think Gary O'Neill's side are going to struggle to score goals, and they're going to struggle ultimately to stop conceding them. But I say that, Nottingham Forest have been leaky as well. 6-0 last week was very, very poor from them. I thought they were unlucky against Spurs, though. Played well and certainly deserved more than what they got. So I think because of that, Forest are going to look stronger. They look home usually quite good. And I think Brennan Aronson, that man right there, is going to get on the score sheet. It will be Nottingham Forest 2, Bournemouth 0. Goal scorers, Brennan Aronson. And then the second for Forest, a first Premier League goal in Forest colours for Nico Williams. Now, it's Tottenham taking on Fulham in a London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday. Now, Harry Kane, I think he's going to get on the score sheet. I think Fulham are going to also get on the score sheet, but I just don't feel that for Spurs, this is the kind of game they can afford to drop points in. As good as Fulham have been, I think Spurs, if they really want realistic chances of pushing for top 4, has to be 3 points. But it's going to be a very fascinating clash, because against Arsenal, I thought Fulham were actually quite good. But I'll say Spurs 1, Fulham 1. Yes, I know I said Spurs couldn't afford to not drop points, but I think they will. Fulham are a good side. Fulham goal scorers, though, first one for Fulham is going to be scored by De Cordova-Reid, and then Spurs hit back with a goal from, as I mentioned before, Harry Kane. Now, it's Wolves against Spurs. This is a kind of fixture I can really see being a bit of a dull one, to be honest, because yes, Southampton defensively have been a little bit weaker, which could mean some goals for Wolves. And yes, Southampton have been scoring a couple recently with Che Adams and Adam Armstrong, but Wolves generally, not this season so far really, but generally are a solid defence. I think the sale of Conor Cody on loan to Everton is a weird one, which has kind of depleted their defence a little bit. But I think Wolves still get a point from this one. Wolves won, Southampton won. Goal scorers for Wolves, I think first it will be Pedro Neto, and then for Southampton, the strike is going to come from Che Adams. Now it's Aston Villa versus Manchester City. Now Man City with a fantastic victory in midweek against that Nottingham Forest side. Honestly, they were superb, and they've got another match in midweek against Sevilla, not Aston Villa, but Sevilla, to start off their Champions League campaign. So they are going to rotate. They are going to know that this is a kind of game they've got to get players fresh ahead of Tuesday. But Aston Villa have been in such dire form that even with a weak side, Man City are going to tear them to shreds. I mean, I say a weak side. No side for Man City is weak. We know how good that squad is. So City will win heavily. Villa 0, Man City 4. And I think Haaland's going to actually start the game, and he's going to score another 2 goals. But in the end, I think that Villa will score an own goal. So an own goal scored by Ezri Konsa for the 3rd. And then the 4th Man City goal comes from, yes, it's Phil Foden. Now, Brighton versus Leicester City is the next one. This game I can see being very interesting because Leicester, what a catastrophic transfer window they had. Whereas Brighton, on the other hand, are in really good form and they're on the up. I say really good form. They just lost to Fulham, but generally they've been quite good at the start of the season. It was an unfortunate own goal on Tuesday night against Fulham, but I think Brighton at home have been much, much better, and they've really impressed me. So I'm going to say Brighton to win this by 2-0. Goal scorers for Brighton is going to be Leandro Trossard and, yes, another Brighton defender. It's not Lewis Dunk this time, it's Joel Veltman. And now we've got Manchester United versus Arsenal. Manchester United with the signing of Anthony on deadline day, as well as Martin Dubravka. Interesting one. Will he play? Probably not. But anyway, Arsenal go into this in fantastic form, top of the table. This is their toughest test of the season. Do I think they're going to win it though? Yes, I do. I don't think it'll be easy though. Man United recently shown a bit more form with a couple of 1-0 wins, but United are still defensively a bit suspect in my opinion. Manchester United 1, Arsenal 3. And Arsenal to score the first one through a bit of Gabriel Martinelli. Jesus gets the second for the Gunners. United get a goal back. And this time, it's the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo. And then Arsenal grab their third goal through the centre-back. That is, yes, you heard it here first, people. Ben White is going to score. Those are my predictions for match week number 6 of the 2022-23 season. Get yours in the comment section below, and I'll predict and, shout out the best ones. I'll predict how many points you get, and I'll also say how many points you do get. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.